Hi guys, welcome back to my little corner on booktube. So today I'm going to be reading Echoes Among the Stones by Jamie Jo Wright. I am super excited to be reading this book. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading vlog. I am doing this voiceover because there was screaming kids in the background while I was reading this. So yeah, enjoy. Okay, so I am currently on page 81 of Echoes Among the Stones. And not, I mean, I guess you could say a lot has been happening, but also not a lot has been happening at the same time. I don't know, because it's a bit of a slow start, but things are happening at least. It seems like what you call this. So we've got our main character, Aggie, right, in the present timeline, and then we've got, I think her name is Imogen or Imogen. I'm not really sure, okay? But Imogen, I'm gonna go with Imogen. In the past timeline. I'm kind of already starting to put some stuff together. My suspicion, right? I've got some suspicions about what's going on. But the book is pretty interesting so far. So obviously in the past timeline is taking place in 1946, right? So this is after World War II. Right? Yes, after World War II. I was literally like, because the World War II took place from 1939 to 1945. So this takes place after World War II, I guess you can say. However, the main character in the past timeline, she finds her sister dead. Fun stuff. She finds her sister dead in her room, in a pool of blood. And obviously that's traumatizing. And she's trying to start the process of trying to find out who did this to her sister and make that person pay. Present timeline, we've got a girl who's grieving the fact that her mom has died. A woman, sorry. And also she lost her business. She was a real estate agent, but she lost her business because of some younger agents under her not renewing their licenses. Such a sad story. Both these stories are taking place in the same place called, is it Mill Creek? But both of the stories take place at the same place in the same town. Obviously, one is just taking place like decades before, and one is taking place now. And the main character in the present timeline has moved in with her grandmother because, well, she lost her job, and she was living in, I think, what did she say, Chicago. She was living in Chicago, but now she's forced to come and live with her grandmother because also her grandmother like lied to her and said that like she's got a broken hip and she needs help, but she has no broken hip. But she was just using this as an excuse to get her grandmother to come, her granddaughter to come live with her. I'm suspecting that Imogen is the grandmother, and the reason why is because our homegirl here found what you call this house, right? That's in her a room in her grandmother's house, and she found a dollhouse. And in this dollhouse, it basically has a lot of, shall we say, it's got all these different rooms, right? And one of the rooms is like an attic. And in the attic dollhouse room is a reimagining of the murder scene, basically. Or let me rather say, a very, like, the attention to detail is just superb on, like, the crime scene that was the attic room in 1946. So literally, for that mere situation, I'm like, first off, the grandmother's 92 years old. Why does a 92-year-old lady have all of this stuff? And the Aggie, the girl from the present timeline, she was literally like, this was always the room that she was never allowed to come into. This was always the room with the closed door. So for me, I'm just like, very interesting, very strange. that she's got this. And also the bed that was in the 1946 room is also in the present time house. The rug that was in the 1946 room is also in the present timeline house. I'm like, there's no way that the grandmother is not Imogen. Like, if it's not that, then I don't know, bro. I don't know. Especially because Imogen literally like made it a vow that she's gonna remember everything, even though it's re-traumatizing her. She's like, I'm gonna remember like which book was placed where was the splots of blood, everything. She's gonna remember everything. She vowed that to herself. So yeah, I think the grandmother is Imogen from the past timeline, but we'll see. And in the present timeline, there's also some crazy stuff going on where, for example, now because of the graveyard, because she is working at a graveyard, I forgot to mention, because of the graveyard that she works at now as a secretary, I guess you can say, she the graveyard is built on a wetland actually. So because of that, there was grave flooding that took place. So now there's a bunch of unnamed graves, and then also like I think there was even like a coffin that popped up. Yeah, crazy. Someone's remains just went pew. So awkward. Now she has to kind of like, her job is to reorganize all the data and stuff and actually start putting these things back in place or whatever. I don't fully get what she's supposed to be doing. But she's also working with an archaeologist, who I'm assuming is the love interest. And now, very close to where I was reading, she literally was supposed to like start day one of her job. Tell me why her office is ransacked. Why is there all the files that she's supposed to reorganize is all over the floor, cards all over the floor, all the necessary information she needs all over the floor, the computer with the backup information disconnected, and it's an old computer also, so like the likelihood that it's been backed up, no. What is that? What is being backed up? So already in the present timeline, there's like an investigation that has to take place now, going, okay, so who is trying to mess up some stuff? Because someone is trying to do sabotage. Like, it's giving borderline sabotage. Like, why are you trying to prevent us from putting this graveyard back in order? Someone is trying to do that. We don't know who it is yet, but someone is sus, and we need to find out who is the problem. So I can't wait to see where this is all gonna go, because I was kind of like, I'm not gonna say bored, but like just like mildly interested to begin with. But as the story progresses, it just gets more and more interesting. So now I'm intrigued. And I can't wait to see where this is all gonna go. Wishing shot 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, done.
Okay, so since the last time that you guys saw me, a lot has happened. I am almost done, and wow, you know, for the first, like, let's say like 60%, it was nice. It was chilled, you know, not super enthusiastic about it, not super I hate this book, it's disgusting. So middle of the road, 3 stars. Well, I was gonna give it like 3.25, yeah. But ever since then, things have been picking up, and it's a lot more interesting now. Like, this is definitely a plot heavy book. A little bit about the flaws of the main character, like they are showcased but never fully addressed, really, in my opinion, in a satisfactory manner. It's definitely plot first. There is like a sub romance situation happening, but at the same time, it's not like I don't know, it's not like a meet and greet and like actually talk a little bit about it. It's like snippets, and it's like things are changing between the characters, but it's not really spoken about or even addressed, really. It's more like actions are taking place and not necessarily like words being exchanged. Like, you can see feelings are developing, you can see people are feeling, you know, the main character in the present timeline, she's feeling some type of way, but again, it's never outspoken. Same with the male, the guy, Kanti, what's his name? Colin. Same with Colin, like he calls her love all the time, and she's like, don't call me that, you know. So there is a little bit of something. They even had a little moment, you know. However, that moment was short, and again, not much expounded upon. And then in the past timeline, wow. So we meet this guy named Oliver Schneider in the first chapter, actually, of this book, in the past timeline. And this guy actually has feelings for our main character in the past timeline, Imogen. And he basically, like, some things happen. Let me say that. Some things happen, and he kisses her. And initially she's like, and then she also kisses him back, but then they never talk about it. I kind of hope that they get together, but because we know who Imogen is, I know they don't get together, which is so sad. Because I think they would have been such a cute couple. I think he would have made her better. And as the book has progressed, talk about faith has increased a little bit, just a little bit, but in short ways. Because like for the first 60% of the book, I was like, yeah, this is you can hardly call this Christian fiction. But as it has progressed, a little bit more about faith has come up, because again, the topic of grief has constantly smacked us straight in the face. And I've come to the conclusion that both Imogen and Agnes are not grieving, period. They have both lost someone they really love. Imogen has lost her sister, Hazel, and Agnes has lost her mother. Yet they both refuse to grieve, actually. They refuse to even process their grief. They just leave it as an open wound. And Agnes even said something, if I can find the quote, I'll put it up. And I was just like, girl, no. She even said something where she was like, she'd rather the wound be open. And I was just like, this is not healthy, girl. This is not healthy. This is bad. This is not how we grieve. Okay, I understand that there's like 500,000 ways to grieve, but what she was recommending was definitely not a great one. It was actually very bad, and has kept her in a constant state of borderline like manic episodes because of her refusing to process her grief. But yeah, things are getting interesting because, like I said, there's mysteries. I don't think I said this, did I? There's a mystery in the past timeline and in the present timeline, and same mystery, and I'm definitely intrigued to find out what happens, because things have gone up, and we found out who was the person leaving the skeleton, and all these weird stuff that has been happening. Like, Colin got smacked with the whole entire shovel in the head and he had to get stitches. Like, so many weird stuff has happened, and we finally find out who did that, and I'm so happy. I'm so glad that we finally find out. And it's it's an interesting person to find out who did that, which is yeah, very strange. I didn't think that at all. I thought it was something way more. That's crazy, but it makes sense. It makes sense why he's doing what he's doing. It does make sense. So I'm about to finish this book today, because I literally went to the library and got 7 books. The max amount that you can actually take out. I got 7 books, and I have no idea if I'm going to be able to complete that all in 2 weeks, but it's fine. It's fine, because if I can't, I can just call the library and ask for them to extend it for me. So it's all good, guys. It's all good. But now I want to finish this at last, because I literally have, let me show you how much pages I have left actually. This is amount, this right here is the amount that I have left. So not much. Literally, I'm on page, what page am I on? Yeah, I'm on page 351 of 374. So I'm about to be finished, and I am excited. Okay, I have only read a few pages, but like I'm just so sad because I personally think that like Imogen would have been so beautiful with Oliver, both of them grieving, him grieving because he lost people that he loved in the war, obviously because this is the 1940s, so he was scheduled to go to war whether he liked it or not. And then Imogen obviously broken and grieving because, well, her sister got murdered and still hasn't found the murderer, and she misses her sister, her younger sister, on top of that. So I'm just sad that both of them see no hope, and both of them aren't trying. Like, I'm sad that Oliver's not even fighting, because she was like, because Imogen was like, I have nothing to give you, and he's like, nothing. And then she asked him the same question, and he had no response. And I'm just looking at them like, guys, grieve together. please grieve together. I'm not happy about this outcome, but I guess if they ended up together, then we wouldn't have the main character in the present timeline. But still, I want them to be together. I really want them to be. I think they would have been so beautiful together. And I think that if they had taken their faith more seriously as well, it wouldn't have given them all the answers that they would want, but at least they wouldn't be in such a hopeless state. They're basically in despair. They are in the pools of despair, and I just wish that they would go read the Bible. I just wish they'd go read the Bible, so that they could just get out of that pool of despair. Cause wow, it's rough. It's rough. Okay, so I just finished the book, and yeah, it was beautiful. Honestly, we found out more of the mystery information that we didn't know, and I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with the answers. I did not guess who the murderer was. I didn't, but I did assume that it couldn't only just be a man. Because initially, when Imogen was trying to figure this out, she was like, whichever man. And I'm like, who said it was a man? So I'm glad that at least in that component, I was like, who said it was a man? But I think because of all the other stuff that was going on, I wasn't actively trying to be like, but who did it? Who actually killed Hazel? And I was kind of starting to think we were never going to get an answer. But we got an answer. We know who killed her. And I didn't expect this at all. Like, I'm still a bit lost on what was her motive for killing her. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not sure why Homegirl ended up killing Hazel. But at least we know who the murderer is, so that's nice. But I'm still shocked. I am still very much shocked that it was her. Like, I didn't see this one coming at all. I really didn't see it coming. But it was so beautifully written as well. There's some lines that I think when I reread it, I'm gonna underline. And overall, it was, at least from the last 40%, was so good and so, well, I wouldn't say thrilling, but like mysterious, and we're unpacking things, and it was really beautiful. I just wish, like, for future, she must work on that first 60%, you know, because yes, the bookmark did fall out of the book. Okay, thank you. Because that first 60% was I'm not gonna say a slog to read, but it wasn't as fascinating as the last 40%. And then I'm glad that at least Mumsy and Agnes are both starting to process their grief. Obviously the book ended with them just starting the process, but I'm also glad that Agnes did not make the same mistake that Mumsy did, or Imogen. I'm glad that, you know, we get to a point where Colin and Agnes kiss. You guys have had zero talk about anything to do with feelings, and all of a sudden this is the situation. Very interesting, but okay. Yeah, but it was really good. Shame, I wish I was buddy reading it with someone, because there's so much more details that I'd want to talk about and unpack. And I love how, like, they were even doing a little bit of an analysis on the concept of, like, how Mumsy was doing early forensics, because obviously in the 1940s, I'm not sure how advanced forensics was at the time, but she was doing, like, when I was reading this book, I was like, she would have been an amazing detective if that time was not biased towards women. I'm biased against women, I mean. She would have been one of the most phenomenal detectives, because I'm sure if Imogen had more information, she would have solved the case. I'm sure she would have, because she kept going back to the crime scene. And that's one of the issues that was taking place in the 1940s, where, like, we scope the crime scene, we don't find anything. And it's like, no, you have to go and thoroughly look through it. And sometimes you might have to go to the crime scene again, because sometimes there's stuff that you missed in the first time that you went. And that is proven in this book. And that has been proven, I think, from my understanding in life as well. So it was so beautiful. And I just really do wish that she was a whole entire detective, because she would have slayed it. She would have slayed being a detective, but neither here nor there. And I'm a bit sad also about the love story that never was in the past timeline, because, again, like I said, both of them had their grief, and then none of them took that leap. And they literally let grief be the chasm between them that they could not overcome. And it's interesting. I love the commentary on grief here, because I've never really struggled. I've struggled with grief because I haven't lost someone, like, close to me in that manner, where it's like a thing of, like, I think about this person every single day. You know, so I'm sure maybe for anyone who has lost someone, this book might add a little bit more insight to it. I do wish the faith content was more, though. I really do wish the faith content was more, because if I had to rate it out of 5 for faith content, it's like 1.52. Like, it's not a lot of faith content in it, but there are snippets. And it's so interesting that at the beginning of this book, Imogen was Anglican, but then throughout the book she became Baptist somewhere. I don't even know where she became Baptist, but the immigrant in the present timeline is Baptist, and I'm just like, oh, when did the switch happen? Oh, interesting. Okay, so yeah, definitely very interesting, but it's also making me want to do a little bit of a analysis on like Anglican versus Baptist versus Methodist, because I'm a non-dom queen. I'm a non-denominational Christian, but it's because I don't know if I could ever fit into any of the denominational boxes, because you might find I've got viewpoints from all of them, and then it's like, well, so then what's supposed to happen now? I mean, I'm not against going to denominational church. It's just I'm in a non-dom church, and it is what it is. But otherwise, yeah, the book was chef's kiss, and I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. It's like a soft 4 stars. But anyways, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, and I'll see you in another one. Bye.